Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in yet again. Interesting video here. We have a new knife from Elijah Isham, and if you guys recall or his name sounds familiar, it is because he has done some of the craziest collaborations with various production companies in the last year, I would say. So we're going to look at a knife that's kind of under his own specific brand, one of his new designs. But just to remind you guys who he is, he was the designer on the Megatherium with Kaiser, and he was the designer on the Eschaton with WE Knives. So, two very large, very different, very interesting knives, and I'm going to open up this one, show you guys size-wise how this thing fits in here, and there we go. So, he's designed at kind of all ends of the spectrum as far as size and complexity versus simplicity and everything else, but anyways, we'll go through it. Hung out with Elijah a little bit at Blade Show 2018. That was, I think, last weekend now. And man, he's got a lot of new designs coming. Probably more than any other designer at Blade Show. And he was pretty much the princess at the ball because everyone was talking to him. I mean, he had someone asking him questions or talking to him pretty much the entire show. So we got a little bit of time together. But let's get into the BlackStar here, which is the name of this little guy. And we'll go to all the details and whatnot. So this is interesting for a couple of reasons. This is a slip joint that has a flipper tab, runs on washers, and it's a slip joint that flips open. So really interesting, non-locking, very small, very lightweight, little, I don't know, suit carry, gentleman's carry. I don't know if you live somewhere in Europe type of carry, or you can't carry this in London, so I don't know, maybe California. Alright, spec-wise, let's bring out a few size comparisons. So what is this, the Cadet here, the Victorinox Cadet. Let's open it up. Disregard the pocket clip on this thing, but pretty much the same size as the Cadet there. We have the Mastrop Gent, which is significantly larger, and we have the Kershaw Dividend, which is also significantly larger. So blade length on this thing is 2.5 inches. Handle length is 3 inches, so overall of just about 5.5 inches. It does weigh in on my scale at 1.34 ounces. The handle thickness, let's go with the Cadet here again, why not, is coming in at 0.43, but then if you measure with the clip as well, that's 0.59. Does run on washers. The blade steel's M390, and the price point will be $150. So a few other details. We're about 3 months out from these knives landing at dealers. This one is specifically a prototype, so we're about 3 months out. And initially the run was going to be done for just 100, but some of the retailers actually stepped up and wanted quite a few of these things. So first run is going to be in 300. You're going to have 150 with the green G10 and carbon fiber inlay, and then the other color choice is black G10 with the carbon fiber inlay. So this one had a little bit more contrast, which is why I requested it for the video. But clip point blade with the, I don't know, the slightest amount of recurve. No, maybe not. No, I'm going to say no recurve. But clip point style blade, done in M390. Obviously the blade stock here is fairly thin. And I'll show you guys the opening method. So I don't know that it's called a front. I'd call it a front flipper. It's, it doesn't come back behind the pivot, it's in front of the pivot, so maybe a front flipper, maybe just a flipper, call it whatever you want. So, and if you don't want to flip it open, you can just obviously grab the, again, people are going to get mad, but we'll call it a nail nick. I don't know that it qualifies for the specific definition, but it works for what we're talking about. So, blade steels on the blade, lanyard hole on the back, which is a post, 3D mill titanium pocket clip. Centering's good. Everything's pretty good on this one. So anyways, just a really interesting piece, and as you guys saw, I mean, it was pretty much the same size as a Cadet. So I don't want to say that it hasn't been done before, but it's obviously very uncommon, the way that it has been done. So essentially, there is a titanium spring bar in there with a detent ball, and the blade has 2 holes. And I did post a video of this on my Instagram, just a short 1-minute clip that shows the knife completely disassembled. I'll link that in the description box below if you guys want to check out that very short video. But essentially the blade has 2 holes on this side. One that, and you can hear it, it pops into one detent hole while it's closed, and then that's what lets it essentially flip open, which I poorly did. There we go. And then one that obviously it pops into the detent hole when it's closed as well, and that keeps it closed. So fairly smooth. I think this one honestly has a little bit more where it could smooth out, since I haven't carried it a ton. And we have a kind of a stop pin inlaid into the blade here. So anyways, just a kind of an interesting piece, you know. And again, it's something that would come from someone like Elijah, being a little bit more unique, a little bit different. I think the size will allow it to be carried in a lot of places. Ergonomically, it's a nice little 3-finger grip on this thing. Obviously, there's not a finger choil, so you want to be careful if you're putting any pressure on the spine of it while it's in your hand. But if you're just cutting like you should be with one of these knives, obviously it's not a problem. Basically, if you don't know how to use a slip joint, don't get a slip joint. If you know how to use it, you'll be just fine. So there are a couple changes that will be coming up on the full production run, again, about 3 months from now. One of which is that the, I guess the spacer here, the barrel spacer for the screws will actually be a little bit smaller. I think on some of them the blade is hitting. On mine it does not seem to be the case, but anyway, so he is remedying that. Pocket clip, there's a little bit of a sharp edge here on the tip of this 3D milled clip, so that's also being addressed. And I think those are the only 2 changes, but you know, I think it's a really cool piece. I think it's interesting. The pocket clip gives a little bit more kind of meat in the hand here, so I can grip it a little bit nicer. And yeah, just a cool little piece done in premium materials, done with a very, you know, obviously a very good manufacturer for OEM work. Pocket clip is stable, so yeah, it's simple, it's straightforward. I already took it apart, lubricated it, cleaned it out a bit, and I had no problems reassembling. So everything went back centered. Pretty snug little thing too. Obviously, it's not going to have the same lockup as like a large titanium frame lock, but it's pretty snug. So it's cool. All right, so I mean that's pretty much what the Elijah Isham BlackStar is here. Beautiful lines, beautiful design, and a fun, highly legal pocket knife that can be carried in a ton of places. So it's just interesting to see kind of his range as far as designs go, from something as crazy as this massive eschaton here down to this little piece, and then back up to this other one. He's got new collaborations going with Kaiser. He's got new collaborations with We Knives. I think there's some other companies too where he's doing some new collaborations, but anyways, best place to follow him would probably be on his Instagram. You can see his new designs as he debuts things, but yep, that is the BlackStar. We'll go ahead and leave it there. Comments or questions, let me know. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and many more to come. Take care.